This is a number 4 worsted weight yarn, and it calls for a 4mm hook size, which I am actually using today, a 4mm. You can play around with this if you want to go up a hook or down a hook. It will change the size of things, so just keep that in mind. And I'm going to show you how I hold my yarn and do my slip knot, because I know that's a big deal when you're first starting out. And I remember trying to find a video where somebody was doing it slow so I could get it. But I'm going to take my tail end here and I'm going to double it. And I'm going to be somewhat generous. And why? Because you see how big my tapestry needle is, and I need to thread it in there, right? And then I want to work in or weave in my yarn at the end, and I like to go one way and back the same way and catch it. So I will be somewhat generous there and probably grab around here. But you don't have to leave that much. It's totally up to you. Whoa. Then I'm going to take this point here and I'm going to place it on my hand, on these 2 fingers. Grasp with my thumb. I'm going to go around the 2 fingers, and it's kind of like you're going straight. So you're at a diagonal, then straight around, and then make an X. And then straight back. And grasp with your ring finger. Then take your hook, go under that first loop, and grasp the second loop and pull through. And as you pull, you're actually going to hold these 2 strings down here. That's your working and your tail end, so that you can take your fingers out and you're not losing any of your work here. And you just start pulling. Then you're going to take the working end that's connected to the ball of yarn and you're going to pull, and now you know that you have a slip knot because it slips tight. And then I just make sure this is untangled so everything's going in the right direction. And I'm going to take this working end and I'm going to take my pinky and swoop up, pull them up, pull them down, go between my first 2 fingers here. The index and my middle finger, and then grasp with my pinky and my index finger. So this is what it looks like for me. I hold with a thumb grip. Now, if you're holding like a pencil, you may want to drape over your index finger like this, because I've seen where people do it this way, like that, which feels so weird to me, but it may feel great to you. So you do what works for you. And there's also a third one, but I can't recall it right now. So I'm going to show you how I hold it with the thumb grip. Now we're going to make a set of chains, and you're going to yarn over and pull through. Now how I do this is I press the yarn down and hook it. Some people like to go just straight behind it and pull through. I think that works great for the following. I mean, once you set up your chain, I think that works great. But this is the issue I have with that when I'm doing my chain, is that, look, it clashes with the last chain you made, the loop. You can't really pull it through. You have to really maneuver it. So I like to press down and pull through. But going forward, when you do the subsequential rows, you can do it however you want to. And so I'm just going to continue to yarn over and pull through. We are going to make 28 chains, and it's really important that you keep the same tension throughout. It's going to make your work look super professional, but just know that you don't have to worry about that to begin with. Just practice, 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 because when I was 15 and I started doing this, I gave up because it was so frustrating to me to try. Well, I remember giving up in the moment, like, oh, this is too much. And then I ended up getting it, right? But I just started picking up crochet again in my 30s. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches. You can tell by the little V's. And this guy here, he's just on deck for the next chain. You can also count stitches by the little bumps in the back, and I find that super easy. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm going to make 28. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And you'll see I'm doing all the maneuvering with my right hand, but you can also use your left hand if your right hand starts getting tired, you can kind of maneuver where you want the movements to go. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And I think I was talking about this, but when I'm doing my chains and my thumb starts getting farther away from the point where I'm making the chains, the hook, I will take this hand and grasp and move my hand up. It's kind of like a ladder, right? And that's how I keep my continual tension. And I keep forgetting how many I have, you guys. I'm so sorry. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 27, 28. Okay, so I do have 28. All right. This is totally up to you how you want to be creative with this. You can go through the back bumps here. You know this is your first stitch. Has the first little bump in there. You can go through the back and you get this beautiful V border. So essentially it'll look like this all along the border. You don't have to do that. You can just split right through this stitch. And that is what we're going to do today. We're just going to go through the top. And the first thing we need to do is we need to make turning chains. And it's the same exact thing we've been doing, except the jargon is changing because these 3 chains that we're making for this particular stitch is going to make the height to return back to the original chain. So we're going to yarn over 1, 2, 3, and you can see that is the turning chain, just like that. And so in this particular pattern, these 3 chains are the border. So look right here. You see these? That's the border. And we do need a space in between. So we have 1, 2, 3. Then this is going to be an empty space. And then, wait, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3 is our turning chain. We have an empty space. And then in the 5th one is where we start our first stitch. So we're going to yarn over. So yarn over, and I'm just going to move that, and we're going to go right into that 5th chain, yarn over, pull through. And actually, let me show you something real quick that I just remembered. So here's our 5th chain. If I yarn over and I don't hold this, watch what will happen. It just collapses. So if you want it to look more neat, I would suggest holding this yarn over with your index finger, going down into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then release your finger. And then I like to hold the very base of that chain because it can get distorted. It's not going to look perfect, you guys, when you're going through that first row, but everything will work itself out. But I like to avoid that if possible, so I put my fingers down here and grasp. And it also allows me to make sure that my loops are level. So we did a double crochet in there. So there's 1 double crochet, yarn over, go through that same stitch, another double crochet. We're going to yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, chain 1, yarn over into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have, the kids are having fun. Okay, so we have our chain 3, then we have a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, just like that. And this is how I pick up my work. I usually grab with my right hand first and grasp with my thumb so everything is secure, and then I will set up my hand. And if I realize like, oh, there's too much slack here, sometimes I'll just wrap my finger around there once. So yarn over, and we're going to do another set, but there's going to be no chains or anything in between these 2 sets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've yarned over, we're going into the 4th chain.
Whoa! I've never seen
And I didn't follow my little trick, did I? So yarn over, go into the 4th chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, Okay, so we're doing 2 sets of double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. And you'll see how I hold my work. It's kind of, I've got it standing straight up because that's what works for me ergonomically. And you can do that with your work as well. Just hold it however it works for you. As long as you're doing the tension right, and like for me, I hold the base to make sure that everything is even, then it'll all turn out. So you're just going to continue this all the way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you should have 2 chains remaining at the end. Okay, so now we have 2 chains left. We're going to skip this one and we're going to go into the last one with 1 double crochet. And I'll show you what your work should look like. So don't be nervous if it's kind of curling like this because of the tension. It's going to do that, but as we go into this next row, it's going to straighten everything out. You'll know if you did it too tight once you get into that second row. But you at least want to make, have your loops be level and everything be neutral. Or if you're going to have looser loops, then just keep that same loose tension throughout. All right, so now we are going to flip our work. I like to flip my work towards me because it presents the yarn in the back. If you flip underneath, this yarn comes into the front, and you could do that, but I don't like that. But they both work. So again, when I pick up my work, I flip it towards me. And we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go right into the middle of this set in this empty space. Not into the chain, but into the space. And we're going to do another set of 2 double crochet, a chain 1, and 2 double crochet. Okay, and then don't go into this spot here, go into the next set, right there. If you were doing, if you were making your own pattern and you needed to increase, you could definitely go into that area and that would be a great way to increase, but you don't want to increase for this wash rag. I keep getting caught up on my scissors over here. Okay, again, go into find the next set, go in there, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So you're probably getting this pattern by now, probably making a lot of sense to you. And again, you're not making any chain or anything in between these 2 clusters of stitches that you're making. When I say cluster, I just mean the set. Okay, in between the next set. If this is too fast for you, there's also a little setting you can toggle down there. And you can change the speed if you need this to be slower. So here at the very end, we have our last set, and then after we do that set, we are going to go into the third chain, which is right here. See that there's the little bump, so you know that's the back of the stitch, so it's just, this is just twisted. So that's your very last stitch. Okay, so let's make our next set. Double crochet 2, chain 1, double crochet 2, and then right next to that, see these last 2? Right next to that second one, there's that chain. So you're gonna go right into that chain. You're gonna do 1 double crochet. You can go right through this top and then come back and grab that back bump. But you should come through that little V. That's how you know you're in there. So yarn over, pull through. And then when you're doing this last stitch, I like to hold the base and make sure that your loops are level. And sometimes it can be deceiving because look, that looks like it's longer, but I'm meeting the height of this loop here. And also, you want to set yourself up for success, because if this is way, you know, too generous, you want it to be taut or neutral, so that when you go to set up for your stitch, you know how high you're supposed to go. Okay, so there we go. And I'm meeting this loop like that. And there you go, guys. It's looking very beautiful. I do say so myself. This is such a beautiful color. Hopefully you guys can see with this colorway. I need to buy more yarn from Lion Brand. Get some lighter yarn. Okay, so what do we want to talk about? You guys pretty much have it down now. I should show you how to weave in your ends. So let's do that. I'm going to put a little clasp here and show you how I weave in this bottom piece. Zoom out just a teeny tiny bit. This is a plastic tapestry needle. It's rounded, so however, I have seen people use sharp needles and pierce through the yarn. That might actually work really well for this type of yarn because it is mercerized and it has a net. So you might want to pierce through it, but I am going to do it this way for now. So I just double up my yarn to get through that hole real easily. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work this down the side through here. I'm trying to get down towards this cluster because I want to work this into the cluster. So I'm pulling through, and I'm not going to press or pull super tight because I don't want it to be distorted, but just enough to get down to where I want to go. So now I'm going to go through this stitch here, but you can't see it on the back side, right? So I'm going through here, pull through gently, and then I'm going to find a piece of yarn to catch down here because I'm going to go back the same way I came, and I need it to catch because if I just went straight back without catching, it would undo all my work. So I just do this a couple times, and I'm going to catch this little guy down here. Can you see that? Because this guy is random. He's not part of this cluster. And then I'm going to go back through again. And you don't want it to get too thick, but I go at least 3 times, like so. And you won't even be able to tell. And then you just clip as close as you can. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment down below if you made this, if you learned something new, and share this with your friends.